Namaste, my name is Sanat Kumar. Welcome back to the Manana Podcast. Manana is a Sanskrit word that means reflection or contemplation. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my deep, insightful reflections for you to contemplate and hence live a life of fulfillment. I hope you find great value in today's episode. Today, we are talking about intent, and that connects to a lot of other concepts like the power of choice, purpose, essentialism, etc. I'll try my best to convey all that's connecting to intent without getting overwhelmed by this interconnectivity. First, even though not in chronological order, we'll see what's intent. Intent is a fire. I mention in my book, The Flower of Fulfillment. Of course, if you have already read my book, you know how a dream, wish, intent, desire, and craving are related and different. And you also know the candlestick analogy. I'll quote an excerpt from my book itself to know what is intent. The intent is the controlled desire. And in my early days, I was confused with intent as desire. Desire made me very miserable. And then I realized that it is the intent that you need to accomplish anything. Something that has the intensity to push you to your maximum abilities and doesn't burn you at the same time. You call it intent, purpose, the why power, fire, determination. You can call it passion, whatever. But it is something that is of high intensity, like a desire, but at the same time in control. To make it simple, we'll just call it the fire. The intent is productive restlessness, productive entropy, we could say. Or if you don't like the word productive, let's say controlled entropy. The power of intent can be understood by understanding the relationship between intent, purpose, and choice. Essentially, purpose is an intent for life. When you have intent in your life, there's a certain energy or enthusiasm, or you can say drive in your life. As mentioned earlier, it is a productive kind of entropy. It makes it easy to overcome inertia or resistance. When we dissect what is actually working in your life when you set an intent in the now, we'll notice it is the power of choice. Intent and choice are inseparable. Your intent is influencing your choice in the now, and the choice you make now is influencing your intent too. And again, as mentioned in the book, the choices you make every day will form habits, and habits can break or make a life. You know that. And if you look at the core, you will see that the power of intent is mainly the power of focus. Concepts such as the dopamine detox, which has nothing to do with the neurotransmitter, it's a pseudo concept trying to imply intentional living. Concepts such as dopamine detox, essentialism, or even minimalism, the one thing, intentional or conscious living, etc., are all just offshoots of this same core. But focus is just one phase of the core of an intent. The other wing of the core is intensity. The intensity helps in two ways actually. One, you can do a lot in less time, but of course the focus is also helping you do that. If you can recall the candlestick analogy, a blazing fire on a candle can burn the wick faster. And spiritually, that means you burn up your pile of karma at a faster pace. That's super good, obviously. And two, again, coming to the candlestick analogy, if you can remember that magic candle we used to get as free for buying 2 chocolates, it wouldn't go out if you blew it. It would relight itself. Similarly, intensity keeps you upright, no matter how much your circumstance is pulling you down. This again connects to the previous fact that with this intensity, you can handle much more in this life. Concepts like willpower, so good they can't ignore you, are all offshoots of this core. So, you can imagine intent as point-focused sunlight under a magnifying glass on a sunny day. It is point-focused, as you can see, and super intense if you happen to place your finger under that magnifying glass. Okay, so I hope you've got to know the power of intent by listening so far. But there's still a key piece missing from this whole puzzle, and that is awareness. An individual sets an intent based on his awareness, right? And the questions like what intent to set falls into the lap of awareness. So basically, with your awareness, you set the intent, and intent has two wings, that is intensity and focus. And through intent, you make choices, and those choices, when done consistently, becomes habits, and habits form life. What I've mentioned in this episode is just the second chapter, The Fire, in my book, The Flower of Fulfillment. It's in the further chapters that I help the readers answer the questions concerning the intent. I would apologize to you for mentioning my book multiple times in this episode, but I plead not guilty because, for one, this episode originates from my book and hence it demands giving credit to my book. And two, because no matter how many times or how much I yell about my book, it will still be underpromoted and hence, in my opinion, remain an underrated book. Because if the insight in it could change my life, then it can do that to every reader. It's the first non-fiction or self-help book everyone must read. I hope you received excellent value in today's episode. To know more, head over to sanatkumarnahibi.com, and if you haven't already, check out my book The Flower of Fulfillment. Thank you for listening, and I wish you have a great day.